Hi, I'm George Ndirango. Over the next 15 minutes, we have Rwanda in focus. Now, the country has made tremendous progress over the last 23 years since the 1994 genocide perpetrated against the Tutsi, and we continue to see a lot more socio-economic progress on the same, both on demographics, high and low. Now, coming up on the show today, we find out the role that the youth has played in this particular progress, the socio-economic progress, and ensuring that the country maintains on that same trajectory. We'll find that out in just a bit. Welcome to Doing Business in Rwanda.
The light of remembrance, the light of life.
According to the International Monetary Fund, one of the fastest growing economies on the continent, Rwanda, realized a GDP growth of around 8% per year between 2001 and 2016.
Rwanda has come a long way in a very short time. I think that is one of the things that attracts many people, that blows our minds, seeing Rwanda rising up from the ashes and rebuilding itself in a phenomenal way. You look at the infrastructure development. If someone leaves Rwanda for say 1 year and comes back, I'm pretty sure they're not going to recognize it. I go to town for maybe I don't go to town for like 2 months. I go there, I find something has changed, and Rwanda has drastically developed over this past 23 years. And it's not just the development of infrastructure. You see the technology improving. You see the livelihood of the people developing. We see programs like Jiringa that have facilitated the development of people individually. Not just the country as a whole. It's good to develop the country, but it's nice to also to start from the roots. How people actually living. You can have big houses and people don't have anything to eat. That will not be good. It won't affect anybody, in a positive way.
We have moved past what happened to us, and we are building a better future for our people. And that also means that, we're going to start from the very beginning. I mean, from 1994, our President, His Excellency Paul Kagame, started from the very beginning, whether it was the sector of education, whether it was the private sector, the public sector, we all had to start from the very beginning. So having all these wonderful conferences and events happening here in Rwanda, it just shows you that we are on the map. And we can actually do so much, and we're having more investors come in, and that means that everybody who's business oriented, or even when it comes to other kind of sectors, we can be able to connect and collaborate with these people and be able to bring a better future for Rwanda and Africa in general.
Rwanda's private sector is fast developing and competitive. It's quite refreshing seeing the youth understand the synergy expected between them and the environment provided.
There is tight competition, unlike in the past, but nowadays there is so much tight in competition, and but some little money comes and you survive on that, but that doesn't make you feel comfortable in staying in that business alone. You have to go wide, right? Like, for example, you have to go maybe in other businesses. Like, for example, if I work from 8 a.m. up to 5 p.m., maybe from 7 p.m. I'm supposed to do another thing. Like, for example, maybe I'm selling something in a restaurant or in a bar, stuff like that, so that you keep piling your money. You're not going to survive on one thing. That's why they have to tell us, like, we create our own jobs and let's focus on something creative so that you can survive. For example, that's why the government is introducing TVT, those technical skills, whereby you're supposed to apply them elsewhere in the world. You can come from here, you go to Uganda, you go to Kenya, not specifically here. But actually, it is developing so fast, and that's why we are here.
The youth face numerous barriers on the job market in regards to their experiences, how much they're able to take on and lose out on many opportunities. Here in Rwanda, the story is slightly different.
I got very lucky for people to believe in me, not how old I am, and give me a job. because of my capacity. So my first job, I was a teacher in the same school where I was going to, and I was very surprised that the school had capacity to hire people who had like master's degree or bachelor degree, but they believed in me and they gave me a job. So from there up to now, I've always been very lucky to work with people that believe in my capacity instead of believing on how old I am or how many degrees I have. So that has been my inspiration in my job and then also in my business. So in my business, I believe in power of young people, and also I believe in their fresh blood and then what they can do instead of how old they are, how many years they have spent in the business. Everything I've been doing in my life, I've been learning from people. So I believe that if I have someone who's very passionate about the restaurants, can just come and then I can share my knowledge, and in the vision that actually always tell mainly my waiters that their life is not in Chop Chop, so their life is somewhere else. So I always encourage people to see what they are doing now as a class that will take them at any point in the future. So that's my inspiration for my life. That's also what I teach.
According to the World Economic Forum, Rwanda ranked third most competitive place to do business in Africa and first in the East African community, making it the go-to country for potential investors.
As someone who works in the investment promotion department, actually, we see a lot of investors every day, like 24/7. So that's a really good sign. That's a great sign, because 23 years from then, we didn't have that. Our economy was in shambles. But for now, up to now, when you see how far our country has been, how far our economy, how far the whole country itself has been, even in the tourism department, for example, people come from really far, very important people, authorities. They come from far to just visit our country, a country that's known for its tragedy and a really horror past. So when you see how it has actually developed from then on, I would say I'm very positive to what it's about, to what it will be in the future.
You have fast internet, you have 4G internet. I can go to YouTube and learn and not just for myself but for my country as well, because in the end, where am I going to put this knowledge? It's in the development of my country. 60% of the people in Kigali have smartphones that give you access to a lot of information. So this technology, we're not just developing technologically, but the development of the technology is helping us, develop in other areas as well. In health, in sports, in the economy. So the development of technology in Rwanda is going to affect a lot of areas. I think it's the basis. It's the basis of the development. Not just in Rwanda, but if you look at the entire world, technology is taking over. Things are being digitized. So Rwanda needs to keep up. We need to keep up. We need to keep up, and as the young generation, we're the one to carry this. Our government is pushing the development of technology. We have different mobile hubs, going to rural areas, helping even those that don't have access each and every day to the internet be able to actually learn how to use this and learn from this. And it's up to us as the young people, us who understand it. I don't want to brag, but I think we understand it more, so it's up to us to push this forward. You look at places like K-Labs in Kachiru, where young innovators in IT come to create, polish their ideas, and help one another. Bring this, shed more light, on this development of technology, which is a little bit more complicated than we might think, even for some people in particular. And so yeah, I think as the young generation, we are the ones to carry this. We are the ones to build up the technological development of our country.
Rwanda has made big strides towards gender equality, ranking 5th globally for closing the gender gap in various spheres. Almost 64% of parliamentarians are women compared to just 22% worldwide. This has enabled women in the country to make economic advances, take up roles in the private sector, and have a say in the development of the country.
As a woman, I think I would thank the government for us, for that, because even in the institution that are working, our top leaders, our top heads are women, and they are also young. compared to other institutions, I would say, in other countries. So you get motivated by what the government puts before and first. So it doesn't really stop us or me, because I know I've got a support system.
One of the biggest things Kahelings was striving to do is bringing unity among the women, because it wasn't easy reconciling with a lot of people. And actually one of their slogans is weaving lasting peace. And this just came from the fact that you could have a woman whose husband killed another woman's family, but bringing them together to make money to help their children have a future. So bringing together people through means of helping their lives. And this business is basically helping women attain skills, weaving, doing jewelry, textiles, and all of that. And all of their products are sold so that the income can come back to them, and they can also build up their families while building up the country.
With a 3-year GDP growth rate, one of the highest among major African economies and neighboring countries, 44th least corrupt in the world, and access to fast-growing markets like the East African community, Rwanda is the place to do business.
Definitely Rwanda is the best place to start a business, because in terms of the gateways in which to start a business are very much wide open, and it takes like a few minutes, if not an hour at max, to go and register your business at RDB, and then all the paperwork you need is given to you immediately on that same very day, whereas in another country it would take you probably a month or even 6 months to be able to get your business started. So Rwanda is very open to that, and it has very many other contributors in order to get your business up and running, and other funds that can help you.
That sums up today's episode, understanding 23 years later what the country is doing to ensure the youth play a more prominent role in the progress of the country. Now, to find out more about the country and the region, ensure that you log on to www.cnbcafrica.com, or you can find out more regarding this and other episodes through our Twitter handles at DVI Rwanda or mine at George Durango. Thank you very much for watching. Keep it CNBC Africa, first in business worldwide.